Hello, this is Tutti Vanhala, an associate trainer for Art to Ride, and here is our work session from the 3rd of December this year. I thought I'd give you a commentary over it because it might be interesting to hear what I was thinking and what I was doing at the time. So here you see DJ lunging Pöly as a warm-up before I start riding. It's about 5 degrees today, and the school is a little bit the school is soft and it's a little bit wet, but it was quite firm anyway, so it was pretty okay surface. However, Pöly has studs on, winter studs, and I think he finds it a little bit sticky to move on in that type of school with 4 studs on each hoof. So he actually got tired quite quickly for him for today, and also I think he got also tired because he has a very, very good winter coat on. We haven't clipped him at all, and it's just beautiful layers of hair he's got on, so we try not to touch it because it's really great for him not to have a rug on all the time. So I think he also got quite warm, and that took its toll. He didn't get horribly sweaty, but still it's it takes on your strength to work in a warmer day when you have a very thick coat on. So anyway, here you see DJ lunging, like I think this was just like something like 5 minutes or so. We'll see soon enough. Just as a warm up for me, because I rode yesterday, but the school was actually then very hard. It was like asphalt, basically. It was like tarmac, riding on a tarmac. It was so solid. So 2 totally different days. And yesterday I only rode in walk because I couldn't even think of trotting on that surface. It was so hard, even with his studs on. But yeah, so today is totally different. And here you see his, I have no idea what happened there. If he saw something behind him, or if he just got a little bit stuck with his studs or something, and he just got annoyed and he just flew off straight. That's the first he's done, and we were both like, whoa, what happened there? I have no idea. But yeah, he settled soon, as you can see here. He's already working pretty well there. So we decided to lunge him just briefly for a warm-up today, because I had only ridden in walk yesterday, and yeah, he didn't get terribly much movement, so to say. So we thought, okay, we'll just let him have a bit of a movement before I start riding, and we'll see if he's stiff or anything else. But he seems to be quite supple today, and was quite willing to work, although he's also having his opinions, as you can see there. Every now and then he just flicks his head up, and it just informs us like, yeah, I don't know, a little bit difficult, or feels a bit awkward, or whatever. But he likes to move, obviously, because the weather is such that the fields are not very nice. You can't really move terribly much in there, even though they have quite a nice big field. So here's a little bit of canter just to loosen him up, and it's pretty good canter actually, even though he's a little bit unstable with his head. But it's a very good canter there. He's really covering the ground nicely, and he's over his back. So that's very nice. Very nice looking canter there. So there he goes. There's a nice stretch. Today there was a lot of, he was really feeling like stretch work, so that's that's different to our last video that I showed. But there's really lovely trot. That is very nice, very uphill trot, even though he's in a stretch. That's really gorgeous. He's really become very balanced quite soon, and really lovely lovely lunging work, I was gonna say, and then of course he flicks his head up and gets distracted there. But for most of the time he just keeps a very nice and steady pace, and he really likes, and he enjoys working, especially on the lunge. So we've basically, well, we lunged all week, and the weather has been such that we haven't really had the opportunity to use anything extraordinary, or we haven't done anything. It's just basic work. One day we had some pole work. We'll just put one pole down actually, and I raised it to a cavaletti, and we just worked over that, and he was very good. Even though the floodlights were creating a bit funny shadows on it, it was in the evening, so he found it a little bit difficult to get the approach right sometimes on the cavaletti, because of the shadows that the floodlights were throwing from the pole. But he was working very nicely. It's too bad we can't we can't film these things at all during the week, because it's just pitch dark, so it's really impossible. But here was this I think it was, well, it's a bit over, it's possibly about 10 minutes in total, because we didn't get the start of the lunging exactly, because I was setting up the camera at the time, so we didn't catch all the lunging. So about 10 minutes. Just wanted to get him loosen up and warm up before I ride. So that was pretty nice. And indeed, yeah, we haven't used any equipment like side reins after all during the week, because it's been just well, it's been bad weather. There's been snow or rain or all kinds of things. And one day I burned my hand, and I couldn't work him at all, obviously, because I had a very sore hand from the burn. But that's healed now, so that's great. And here you see a little bit of a faster pace interlude here, with putting up the saddle on and fixing him for riding. So I thought I'd leave this here for for entertainment value. See how we do it. We always take the stirrups off the saddle, because they are so easy to take off. It's very nice and easy thing. And here I'm getting on. So here we go. Right. And that's me riding. I'm back to the normal speed, which seems very slow now. Right, in the beginning I just thought I'd leave him be. I'm not going to nag him too much at all. So I'm just gonna let him walk at his own pace. And he's a tad slower than I would like, but I just thought, I'm just gonna let him be for a round or two, and he can just pick up his own pace. And I think he started to move more actively on his own accord at some point, so that's really nice. Sometimes you just have to, so to say, sit back and wait for it, and other times you need to remind them that, okay, we need to go a little bit more active now, thank you. And as you can see here, he's really enjoying his this is kind of a midway stretch for him. He was not kind of jerking the reins off me today too much at all, and he was relatively supple for him, so he didn't find it too difficult with the work today. But I did a lot of walk work before I proceeded on to trot, and today I decided that I'm not gonna canter very much. I did canter on the left rein before, or as I started to walk the trot work. I felt that he was just lacking a bit of energy, and I thought maybe the a round of canter, maybe that would help to open him up and get him more active. So that's what I did, but that was all of the cantering day. But here you see our first small leg yield, and that went really nice, and he stayed in the stretch, as you can see, and he just did it. I was very pleased with that there was no resistance, there was nothing. He just looked like, okay, I need to do some leg yield, that's fine. So that's great, and that's the effect of the lunge warm-up, I'm sure. It's just that it takes a little bit too much energy out of his work. At least today it did. So he was a little bit inactive and he got tired also relatively quick. Although you can see from the length of this session that it was about 3/4 of work. So it wasn't any kind of short session, but you see how he's really relaxing into the stretch a couple of times. And here I'm taking going into position for some leg yield again, a little bit more this time, and I need to correct him a little bit and think about his bend and straighten him up. And here I'm asking again, like, for a little bit better yield, and there he goes. That's very nice, very pleased with that. So as I say, I think to be really optimal, he should be a little bit more active in the walk, but I did not want to push it today, and I was just did not want to nag him all the time. So that was my plan for today. I think, yeah, here I was just going straight and then doing a little bit of shoulder forward there, and he's complaining about it because he really needs to stretch his right side of his body then, and that's a difficult bit for him. He's a little bit shorter on his right side, so that is always more difficult to stretch that. And here's some more shoulder forward. I was having a little bit more difficulty with there, but that's pretty okay. The angle is maybe just a tad too much, but it's not too bad. He stayed nice and straight for it, so that was good. He wasn't what I mean is that he wasn't bending his overbending his neck laterally, so that's good. And you can see here when he passed and when he passes the camera and so on, that he's still not quite engaging all his core yet, so he could be more engaged along his top line still. And here's some more shoulder forward, and he's complaining a little bit, but he's obliging me, and he's staying in the stretch. And there's a little bit of unevenness on the school over there at the far corner. That's why you might see him kind of taking bigger steps. There's a draining area for the school there. That's what it was. And here I'm practicing yielding from the rail to the inside, and that's actually going really nicely today. I've just introduced this new idea to him, like, oh yeah, we can actually leg yield from the rail and not to the rail. And he had loads of trouble figuring this out at first, but now he's kind of starting to listen to my leg much better, and much more like, okay, we can actually do that, and yep, we can do it. And here is the same thing. I'm just yielding from the rail and trying to control his bend, that he's not jackknifing, because that is what he does quite easily through his left shoulder especially. And here's my third time yielding from the rail, and I am planning to yield back to the rail without changing the bend, so a couple of steps of half pass, so to say, or approaching half pass, and that was excellent. I really loved that, because this is the first time ever he's done anything like that, so I'm pretty happy about it. It's like, yay! He really listened to my leg. He didn't change his bend, as you could see. He was quite straight, but he changed the direction of the yield, and that was good. That was approaching 1 or 2 steps of half pass, so I was ecstatic about that. It was really good. And as I'm walking him across the diagonal, I was thinking like, oh, you know, according to Art to Write rules that I'm preaching, so to say, I should actually hop off him now, because he has never given me anything like that before. So that's it was really good. But I thought, oh well, you know, I think I'll just walk him a bit more, and do a little bit of trot work, and then try this on this other rein and see how it goes. But otherwise, folks, you could if you get something like that, you could just hop off, and that's your session. So in a way, don't do as I did, just continuing. So there's a lot of walk work that I did today, and I'm pretty pleased with that. It's nothing high tech, so to say. It's just same old type of session and training we do anyway. So this is what we would do most of the time when I'm riding. And on this rein, with these yields that I'm doing, I'm really concentrating on keeping him straight, so that he won't jackknife. And there you could see I was making him straight and then yield again. And here he kind of falls in a little bit. He doesn't jackknife, but he started to lead maybe a little bit too much with his shoulder. But it was good enough for me, and he kind of remains in that stretch, and keeps working anyway pretty well. So that's okay. And here I'm doing the same. I'm just taking a little bit of a less difficulty in it, and a bit of a less of a leg yield here. As you can see, he's slightly overbending there, but it's not too bad. It could have been better, but it's not too bad. Especially on that long side. For some reason, he does not like to yield towards that long side. I have no idea why. Maybe the ground is ever so slightly different. And here I was turning in the center line and leg yielding from the center line. And that was a little bit difficult, that turn. And I have slight difficulties in keeping him straight here. But I'm straightening up, and I manage pretty well. And there is a little bit too much going with his shoulder. There I'm straightening up again, and just a couple of more. There we go, a little bit more, and that's it. And then he curled up a bit, because indeed he doesn't like me correcting him and asking him not to go through his shoulder. So he's doing his some of his evasion tactics, which is one of them is just curling up a little bit. So I need to really pay attention to that. And here I'm just going straight. I'm trying to remember to just take a couple of long sides, just going straight, and asking him to just move on a bit. Again, he could be more active to be optimal, but he's working pretty well, and he's this session you see a lot more stretching with him than last session. As I said, he somehow felt far more relaxed in it. And here I'm asking for a shoulder 4, and he's not quite wanting to do it for me, so that's why he was complaining, like nah, and throwing his head a little bit there. But I just quietly persist and insist on it, and he does give me something, and that's okay. So it's no big deal. Just ask for it again. Ask for it again in the next long side. And it could also be my position that I'm not exactly right. I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, I have to really keep my body straight as well. And here you can see how he's losing his work through the top line a little bit, but then it's coming back quite okay with this shoulder 4. And here we go. That's a lot better. And I think I start to ask for, well, this is another, no, yes, here I start to ask for a little bit of yielding from the rail, and he's really struggling with it here. He doesn't quite want to do it. I insisted on it a little bit, but then and I thought, oh well, there comes the next long side, and I'll try again. It's more awkward on the right rein, yielding from the rail, because then he has to really stretch his stiff right side, or stiffer right side, and you can see here how it's slightly, ever so slightly curling when I ask him to yield, and he's a little bit finding it difficult, so I just keep it for a couple of some steps, and then I'll just come back. I was like, okay, just do a little bit what he can do, or what he can give me in kind of easy in a relaxation. There's always other opportunities to try it again. There's no point in getting angry or upset or anything, or kick your horse or something. You just ask again and again. So here we go, that's a lot better. Just couple of steps. Just couple of steps, that's it. Oh, that's a lot better. There we go. That worked. And then I was trying the similar thing than on the other side, but you can see that's a lot worse. That's a lot more difficult to try and ask for a return in without changing the bend or anything, and just start to ask for a little bit of half pass there. But that was not very good attempt, but we tried it anyway. And it also can be me that I'm somehow blocking his movement with my body, but I know that he finds it also a bit more difficult on this side to work through it. And here I go again. I try again once more, I think, and then I'll just try again. That goes a lot better. That goes a lot better. Still not perfect, obviously, but this is the first times I'm asking this type of work, so I'm pretty pleased that he improved with the second go, and I thought, yeah, that's great. That is very good. So next time he might be even better, or he might start to understand what I want from him. That's also one thing that you have. You have to teach the horse what you want, and I have to be clear about it. Okay, I tried it once more. So here we go once more. And that yielding from the rail starts to work a lot better. And here I go, I think I try a little bit back. Yeah, there we go, that's a little bit better again. So, that was a little bit better, that's good. We're starting to get it a little bit, and we can work on the bends and so on more later on when we get more used to this work. Here I was starting to ask for trot work, but since he was just kind of throwing his head up, I thought I will return back to walk for a couple of steps and try again, and that worked a lot better. So I was thinking I could start working a little bit more on the transitions, that that he can do these things a little bit better these days, so I should start asking him a little bit more. And yep, he's you can see his trot work is a little bit too slow and so on. And here is it totally hollow then, but there he goes to work again. So this is quite normal for him these days still, that he pokes his head up sometimes in the beginning, especially in the beginning, and I'm just following him, and I'm just asking sometimes a little bit of a yield, like here, to get his attention and get his top line back engaged and so on. So by no means this is not the absolute best of his work, but he was quite a pleasure actually to work today, so that was all right. And here you see how he's a little bit hollow there, but I'm tackling it with a little bit of a leg yield there, and he's really coming back to me quite easily, and he likes to stretch today indeed on it. And a little bit of a shoulder forward there, I think I'm going for. And again, he's really liking his stretch, and he's I think it's just I don't know, maybe it's because he hasn't gotten very much movement in the field and these days, and also yesterday just walk work, so maybe he's really wanting to stretch himself a little bit more. But indeed he was not jerking today very much, so that was very good. And here I decided to I'm gonna just do a bit of a circle here, just to grab his attention again. He was a little bit just hollowing every now and then, so I'm just thinking, okay, let's get you back into work mode. So there he's starting to engage all together, so you notice that the dip behind the saddle disappears, and his abdominal wall is coming up, and so he's really engaging his core there. Too bad the light was going a little bit there, so and I'm wearing black, so it's like the contrast is a bit too much for the camera, so we're kind of fading away there in the background, and you can just see my silhouette. But yeah, that's the troubles of the winter time. We don't really have very much light anymore here, and if it's cloudy, then it's not very light during the days either, so that's a bit of a problem for filming everything. It's just this time. So I'm also concentrating here, just taking those straight lines and just asking him to move on. And he's really stretching very nicely, and you can see there how he's using his back very nicely. His tail is swinging quite relaxedly, and then he's a little bit just a little bit hollow there, and I think like, okay, I'm gonna do another circle here. And then I felt like he was really feeling a little bit slow and tired, so I thought, okay, we're gonna take a break. So this is my break for him, just a little bit of stretchy walk, and I'm not doing anything at the moment. I'm just letting him take a breather, and I'm not really asking him to move on at all here. He's just taking his giving him his kind of space and time. Or the only thing I'm asking that he's not looking outside, and he's just using himself a bit better. But you can see here he's getting quite slow. Yeah. And you can see also the way he's stretching, that he's a little bit tired already here. But I still go about 10 minutes more or so, maybe a bit less. So I thought like, okay, I'm gonna give you a breather, and then I'll see if that helps a little bit. But here you can see how he's anticipating to stop. He's thinking like, okay, this is the end of the session, right? So he's kind of slowing down a bit. And there I was asking just a couple of steps of leg yield, so that because he was starting to look outside, and kind of bending out instead of inwards a little bit. And here we are hollow again. That we soon fix that with a little bit of yield there. So I think it's probably the surface and his studs and everything. And here I'm asking for just a round of canter, because I thought, okay, let's try canter. Maybe he will get a little bit energetic out of it, more energy out of the canter. And see a little bit of hollow here. I'm working on it, and then he starts working over his back there, and the camera lost us just there when he started working nicer, and I decided, okay, now we're going back to trot. And he's a little bit better. You can see how he's striding really nice, and he does work over his back and through his top line very nicely. Stays quite nice and straight there and all. But the canter today didn't do terribly much more for his energy level, so it just was one of those days that he was more tired. Although here he kind of gave me a little bit more activity along that side. That was very good. And I'm just asking that he's just moving on along the straight lines, that he goes straight along the long sides, and if I ask for a yield or if I ask for shoulder in, then he will react to that. But otherwise I think I'm just concentrating on getting him moving nicely here, and he does really make an effort for me there, so that's very nice. I think here I'm doing a little bit of shoulder 4. It's working pretty okay. That was not bad at all for him. But you can see how he's still covering the ground quite nicely, but he's starting to struggle a bit. He's feeling a bit heavy on the legs. But indeed, he's giving me quite some nice work just here, and so this is the last trotting stretch I'm doing, and I was very pleased with that. He gave me a very nice trot, so I thought like to stop there. We're just gonna have a little bit of walk work still, even though he thought that we were gonna stop. Yeah, he's offered me 2 times, like, can we just stop and get my carrot and go back to the field? But no, we're just gonna do just a round or two more of just stretchy walk and cooling down a little bit. And then I thought, like, to try a little bit work towards a walk pirouette. So here I'm just asking him to turn around his hindquarters, and that went really nice. I was very pleased with that. He didn't change anything in his going. He just gave me a quite nice turn. Towards the left it was a lot more difficult. As you can see, he just poked his head up and he lost some of his rhythm there, so that was far more difficult for him, and I had to make the turn a little bit wider as well to keep him even a little bit over his back there. So but that's all work in progress, and I'm just trying these new things every now and then with him, just to see how he's coping with that. And here I'm going around the school once more. Nice relaxed walk, and I think I'm going to do another walk pirouette, a quarter pirouette trial here. Just a couple of steps, and that's how we go. It was pretty nice. Lost a little bit of rhythm there, but that's not too bad. And here's another one, and we got a little bit unconcentrated there, just as I was turning. And here's the end of our session, and that was in total about 40 minutes of work for him, including the lunging. So that was it, and he gets carrots and lots of patting and good boys. And I've just speeded up this this bit of video for you. I thought it would be amusing to see indeed how we end our sessions. And we usually tack up outside if we can during the day. It's a lot nicer than taking him indoors in the stables for this just as well. He can just stay outside, and he's very calm and happy. I don't need to really worry too much about him when we do that, so that's great. I need to change to my boots, my wellies, because it's very very boggy out in the field. There's a lot of mud there, so I don't want to go with my riding shoes there. And DJ's coming and handing out my hat to me. So that's just our normal working session and how we do things around here. And he's just getting a carrot, and we go back to the field, and he gets to eat some more. He ate some more hay and be with his mate out in the field some more till the evening. So there we go. The camera is following us very nicely today. It's not too cloudy and not too dark, so it's quite happily working for us. There we go, all the way back to the field for the day. So I hope you enjoyed our session, and hope it was a bit more informative as well, like how does the just average session look like when we work Pöly. And well, until next time, bye.